Hello, my name is Robbie Ergang, and I'm a special education teacher at the Providence School, which is an alternative school in Jessamine County. Within our school, we have a high special education population, and all of our students receive free or reduced lunch. I'm currently enrolled in the teacher leadership with an endorsement in moderate to severe disabilities program at Georgetown College, and I'm working on understanding and developing my knowledge and skills in collaboration with other teachers. I've been approached by both general and special education teachers, and there's a disconnect between what they're hearing and what they're understanding when it comes to collaboration. So, my evaluation question is: what do high school general education teachers know about collaborative teaching with special education students, and how does their knowledge impact their collaborative practices? And I do believe that these findings of my study will have the potential to positively impact instruction at my school. While researching and developing this research question, I did literature review to identify themes that maybe I could be looking for, or themes that were already existing in previous studies that were similar to mine. Uh, I found three themes, and the first one is there needs to be an increased communication between general educators and special educators. So within that, there was a lot of issue that they didn't speak or have a lot of time to communicate, which actually leads into the second theme, which a need for additional training for teachers. So when they have that increased communication, they weren't having effective conversations because they didn't have the same training. They didn't feel like they had similar levels of understanding. And then finally, there was the theme that there was a need for a structured or specified time. As educators, we often understand the lack of time and the need to do a lot of things. And so a structured, specified time was important for these both general and special education teachers to understand how they could be collaborating better. Um, so my methodology and procedures, um, I'm going to be using a qualitative action research, which is going to allow me to both to study my classroom and apply it to a specific school setting, and that will apply for my school. I'm going to use this qualitative data so I don't have to narrow the possible options for my respondents. And I'm going to be using Google Forms, classroom observations, and a one-on-one interview as my data instruments. The teachers that I work with, will be providing answers on the Google Forms, and they're going to be asked both, and in the interviews and in the classroom observations as well. But the teachers are going to be asked about their own exposure to collaboration in the classroom and how their exposure and experience may affect their classroom. Um, and I do believe that these instruments will allow me to answer my research question by giving me data on how the participants view collaboration in their classroom. For my participants, I will be using 10 teachers within my school building. And all the teachers will have their privacy at a very high regard in my study. Their privacy will be protected by using the aliases instead of their names. And then the data will be stored in a password protected cloud space, which will then be destroyed following my research on May 1st of 2021. The data collection and analysis within the survey, I'm going to provide data on what participants believe about collaboration and how they incorporate that into their classrooms. While I interview them, I'm going to focus on what teachers know about collaboration and how they could be more effective with it in their teaching practices. And then finally, the observation will allow me to have insight to what teachers' actions are in the classroom and if they back what they say in both the survey and the interview. I'm going to be um, interpreting and analyzing this data by using a color-coded system, which will combine the data. And every time that a similar concept is stated, I'm going to highlight that in their respective colors. I'm going to know and complete the data and finally group all of those topics into a Google document table to investigate for similarities amongst the participants through a triangulation process. And I do believe, and hopefully, the triangulation process will generate findings that will answer that research question. These are the references that I've used throughout the studies so far, and they were mentioned through my literacy